about nature.
Well, first of all, we are extremely pleased to have gotten to know so many people in this room that we wouldn't have gotten to know other than the fact that we all share a mission of trying to preserve, protect the land of our beautiful Geauga County. So we really feel honored to have met so many people that we maybe wouldn't have met otherwise. So to be chosen for this award is really gratifying, and we work closely with Bill, we work closely with Dan, and Jim Patterson. You were very nice to say this is a really good group, but the other two that we are being given this award at the same time, we agree, they are wonderful. Pat talked about the snake episode, and let me just, there's one other time that I recall. It was a family gathering, and we have a big family room that is connected to our bedroom, and we have our master bathrooms there. And one of our daughters, who was also deathly afraid of snakes, went in to use our bathroom and came out and said, "Oh, Dad, what do you know, that's not even funny." So she said, so I walked in, and there on the middle of the tile on the floor was a 5-foot-long rat snake. Rat snakes don't bite, you know. So I thought, we have a lot of our kids and grandkids were there that day. And so I thought, well, there's not anything I can do. So I grabbed I watched Dan do this, and he grabbed a snake behind the neck. Well, as I did it, it was about that big around. It was literally that long. And I grabbed it and went all around my arm. So startled me. So I walked out, and by the time I had walked out back into the family room, at least 3 kids were standing on the sofa. And then one of our other daughters said, "Oh, no, wait, I want to get a picture." Here I am with this thing wrapped around my neck. And I finally, I went out and put it in the grass, and it just slid away very nicely. We live among the animals, but at times animals live among us. Jim talked about the raccoons. They're there with us all the time. The deer are with us all the time. We've had woodpeckers on the house. We've had hummingbirds in the house. We've had bats in the house. We've had snakes in the house. But when you think about it, they and their ancestors lived in property that we had long, long, long before we did. And what good neighbors do every once in a while is go talk to your fellow neighbors and say hello. So I think that's what the animals are doing, is coming and saying thanks for what you do, protecting our land. We just want to get to know you a little better. I know I've also walked down our driveway, and we're fortunate to have some pretty good-sized trees. And one of the things right shortly after we moved in there was I was really struck by the magnificence of these trees that have been there for over 100 years, I'm sure, some of them. And I was compelled to go up to the tree, and I put my hands on it, and I said, "We're here, we're going to protect you, don't worry." And I think everybody ought to try that sometime. I could feel it coming back from those trees. So, thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody, presenters and heroes. It has turned into a very nice afternoon, even with the snakes. I have to check the program.
One more thing.
Yes, you can.
Okay. Jim, is this one of the things that you talked about, me In the late 1970s, I had the privilege of working with Barb's mother and with Junior League and Council of Jewish Women, we formed Bellflower Center for Prevention of Child Abuse. Who would know that right now I'm here with her daughter?
My mother liked snakes. I want to say just one other real quick thing about Pat and John. When we started Protect Geauga Parks in 2014, we were a small group of people kind of on a mission, but we didn't know very many of you yet. And somehow Pat and John became, I think, maybe one of the first 10 people that we were in touch with who invited us over and helped tell us sort of how the sausage is made, and have guided us and been willing to answer questions through all this time. So we really appreciated their friendship and support as well. We have also a special guest. So Tom, sorry, I haven't had enough cookies. Tom Curtin was longtime director of Geauga Park District and is currently the director of the Preservation Parks of Delaware. All that's another story, but we have invited him to speak as well because he worked with all the heroes and has some really interesting things to share.
Well, I will keep it brief. And just a couple of things for each of the honorees. When I think of Pat and John, the word savior comes to mind. Shortly after I started as director, we launched the capital campaign for the Westwoods Nature Center. And I had never been involved with a big capital campaign. The Geauga Foundation, Geauga Park District Foundation really hadn't been involved in a big capital campaign either, and we were kind of floundering, and Pat and John rose to the occasion and really directed the efforts for that capital campaign and helped raise that money. Helped focus that campaign. Spent a lot of time going out to meet potential donors with John. Opened the doors, and I'd explain the project, and John would do the ask, and the money came, and we raised just over $750,000 for the Westwoods on that particular campaign. So that was huge, and over the next 14 years, their teamwork and support continued to benefit me and the Geauga Park District through Pat's work with the foundation, and of course John's service on the board as a park commissioner. So very fortunate to have had you as my saviors for the Westwoods campaign, and then of course your support then throughout the rest of the years. Bill and Arlene, I did not have the opportunity to know Arlene, but Bill often spoke about Arlene as we were working on different projects, and so I was aware early on just about how important their life was together and their partnership for accomplishing everything that they did individually and together. We were very fortunate that Geauga Park District was a recipient of that love of the natural world and their collective energies. Bill's steady presence and support during my time at the Park District was invaluable to my professional growth and the Park District's accomplishments. And he frequently said to me, when we talk about accomplishments, he said, Tom, if you don't have big ideas, you're not going to go anywhere or do anything. So let's get going. So that's how big things were accomplished. Purchasing the land for the Westwoods and building the Westwoods Nature Center and Observatory Park and all the good things that happened at the Park District. It's just that specialness. We talk about teamwork with Pat and John and Bill and Arlene, and it's that the power couple. You hear that term, and truly, both couples embody that. Saving the best for last. makes you squint, doesn't it? You know, talk about songs, Dan, and I don't know why, but over the past week, as I've been thinking about you, Alex Bevan's song, Skinny Little Boy from Cleveland, Ohio, kept coming into my mind. And we have to change the words, of course. Skinny little boy from Chardon, Ohio. Come to hike Geauga trails and paddle Geauga rivers. Yeah. But Dan expanded my natural history horizons.